When you're lying in bed by yourself without any hope, and you say to yourself, what are my alternatives? I think it is not unnatural for one of those solutions to be, maybe I'm just not going to be here anymore. I got to that place where I had hit bottom. If you walked down the street and saw me on the street, you would never say, this is somebody who's homeless and can't feed herself. I have a terrific life. I had a great career working in the media business. 2 terrific daughters who are bright and creative. The kind of life where you figure it's just going to go on like that forever. And you have no expectations that anything would ever change. As with most divorces, the children had their reactions. My older daughter was getting ready to go to college, and so that was a big transition year, senior year of high school. My younger daughter was just approaching 13, and that's a tough age no matter what. Unfortunately, my job terminated. Any money that I had saved was depleted. Suddenly I found myself needing to tighten my belt to the extent of having to decide between food and then gas for the car. Not having a vacation is one thing. Not having food to put on the table is quite another. It was one of those things where I never would have thought that I would be standing in front of shelves of food at a food bank and somebody saying to me, take what you need. I just started to get used to not having. It got to the point where I could not afford to stay in the house that I was renting. I couldn't pay the rent. I was literally living on unemployment. And at a certain point that ran out as well. So I couldn't afford to take care of myself. There's a real emotional element that I don't think people really talk about. It's depressing, it's humiliating, it's frightening. I was worried about my health because I didn't have insurance. I always kept a positive attitude that at some point I would be able to click my heels and be back home and that it would all be okay. But it kept going on and on and on. And I thought, is this it? Is this where I'm too young for my life to be over? What Federation did was give me a shoulder to lean on. They provided food for me. It was a safety net that I didn't have anywhere else. They had a person who was my counselor. She gave me that hope that I wasn't alone. I would talk to her and feel like a person again. She reminded me of who I really am. I never really thought about what the Federation did. I knew globally, when it gets down to the granular level of helping individuals, the oddest thing is helping people like me and not my preconceived notion of who needs help. Because sometimes it's the least expected people that need the help. And I think that was the biggest awakening for me. I did get back on my feet, thankfully. I have a job, but I'm a different person. And I know I'll never be the same again. My perspective is completely different. Every time I go to the grocery store, I still hold my breath because even though I know that there's money in my bank account, I still hold my breath because I'm worried that the card won't go through. My daughters are both in great places right now. We're back to being a different kind of family, but a happy family. And I can give them gifts on the holidays, and I can be a mother to them. What Federation does is so important to people. I'm so grateful, and always will be, because they were there when I needed them.